Why fat loss is decided at night. Most people focus on what happens during the day, counting calories, exercising, eating clean. But fat loss is not judged meal by meal. It's decided during long, quiet periods, especially at night. Your body needs an extended break from food to switch from intake mode to repair mode. When that break is long enough, insulin drops, maintenance hormones rise, and stored fat, particularly stubborn belly fat, becomes accessible as fuel. If food keeps arriving late into the evening, even small snacks, that switch never fully happens. The body remains stuck in processing mode instead of entering repair mode. This is why people can do everything right during the day, yet still struggle with belly fat. The real decision isn't made at lunch or dinner. It's made during the hours when the body is supposed to be quiet, resting, and repairing itself. Insulin, the nighttime gatekeeper. Insulin's role is simple: move energy from food into cells. But it follows one strict rule. When insulin is elevated, fat burning is paused. Late-night eating extends insulin's activity into hours meant for recovery. Yogurt, fruit, nuts, or healthy snacks still count. Each bite tells the body that energy is still coming in. As a result, fat stores remain locked. Nothing feels wrong. You sleep, you wake up, but metabolically, the body never receives permission to tap into stored fat, especially visceral fat around the belly. Night after night, insulin quietly blocks the fat-burning process without obvious symptoms. This is why belly fat often feels resistant, not because of overeating, but because insulin never fully steps aside long enough for fat burning to begin. What changes when dinner ends earlier? Stopping food earlier allows insulin to finish its job and fall naturally. This isn't extreme fasting, it's simply letting biology do what it's designed to do. Once insulin drops, the body shifts from intake mode to internal fuel use. Stored energy becomes available, not because you ate less, but because the timing is finally aligned. This reframes fat loss completely. It's no longer about discipline or restriction. It becomes a rhythm issue, matching eating patterns with the body's natural cycles. When dinner ends earlier, the body receives a clear signal that energy intake has paused. That signal opens the door to repair, recovery, and fat utilization overnight. Fat loss stops feeling forced and starts feeling automatic, because the body is finally working with you instead of against you. Melatonin and the nighttime hormone mismatch. Melatonin rises at night to signal rest, repair, and conservation. It's not just a sleep hormone, it's a metabolic timing signal. Problems arise when melatonin and insulin are elevated together. This is a modern mismatch humans weren't designed for. Late eating forces insulin to stay active during a phase meant for recovery. Blood sugar clears more slowly, inflammation subtly increases, and excess energy is more likely stored as visceral fat. When eating stops earlier, insulin is already low by the time melatonin rises. The signals no longer compete. The body receives one clear instruction: rest and repair. This hormonal alignment improves metabolic efficiency overnight without effort. Nothing dramatic happens in the moment, but over time, this clean separation between feeding and resting dramatically changes how fat, especially belly fat, is handled. The overnight fat-burning window. When insulin remains low long enough, a deeper metabolic phase opens during the early morning hours. This is when the body quietly begins using visceral fat as fuel. The liver converts fatty acids into ketones, supplying steady energy to the brain while you sleep. There's no hunger, no awareness, just internal fuel management happening automatically. One late-night snack can close this window completely. Insulin rises, ketone production stops, and fat burning is postponed until another night. This process explains why fat loss feels slow despite effort. The window is fragile and timing dependent. Protecting it doesn't require extreme dieting, just allowing enough uninterrupted time for the body to transition fully into its overnight metabolic mode. HGH,
protecting muscle, spending fat. In a low insulin state, human growth hormone becomes active. HGH's job is not to burn muscle, it's to preserve it. HGH directs the body to protect structure, repair tissue, and meet energy needs using stored fat. This is why a well-aligned nights lead to a lighter feeling in the morning without weakness or depletion. Muscle is preserved, metabolism stays stable, and fat is used strategically. The body doesn't panic, it organizes. This is the opposite of crash dieting, where muscle is sacrificed. Here, fat is spent intentionally while muscle remains protected. Over time, this hormonal environment supports leaner body composition without constant hunger, overtraining, or aggressive calorie restriction. Why mornings feel easier? After a properly aligned night, mornings feel different. Hunger is calmer, energy is steadier, cravings are quieter. This isn't willpower, it's physiology. Insulin sensitivity is higher, and the body has already met much of its energy needs overnight. Breakfast feels optional rather than urgent. Poor nights create chaotic mornings. Aligned nights create organized mornings. Most daily eating behavior is shaped by what happened while you slept. When the body finishes its overnight work, daytime decisions become easier automatically. This is why fixing nights often fixes days without deliberate effort. Applying this without rigidity. 6 p.m. isn't a strict rule, it's a reference. What matters is a consistent 3 to 4 hour gap between your last meal and sleep. Shift gradually. Respect rhythm over precision. Reduce evening light and stimulation so the body recognizes that the day is ending. Avoid forcing fat loss. Stress works against biology. Instead, remove obstacles: late eating, excessive light, constant stimulation. When nights are respected, fat loss becomes a side effect, not a struggle. The body doesn't need to be pushed, it just needs the right conditions to do what it already knows how to do.